Okay, we should be good with the recording. Welcome everyone to the RSA cataloging chat on Thursday, May 29th. We're glad to have you join us. If you'd like, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. If you'd like to type your name and your library in the text chat. A few meeting housekeeping details. Make sure your microphone is muted. You were automatically muted when you joined the meeting. Video is encouraged but optional. You can enter questions at any point in the chat window. If you want to ask your question verbally, you can unmute yourself and ask to chime in. To turn on closed captioning, you can click Show Captions on the Zoom toolbar. The meeting is being recorded and the slides will be available. Watch the RSA cataloging email forum for an announcement. And then let's take a look at where our agenda is posted for today on the RSA support site. So if I go to support.librariesofrsa.org, we have an events tab towards the upper right, and then there's membership chats. And then notice for today's chat, the agenda is posted there. Okay. All right, so our first agenda item is Nancy. She's going to give an update on Rails cataloging services. Is Nancy with us? I don't think she used to. Okay, all right, well, let's skip that agenda item for now. And if you, Jen, see Nancy join us, we can circle back.
Okay.
And then I will switch places with you, actually. Yeah, I'll switch places with you. Let me get the slides back up. Okay, there you go.
Okay, so Pam Thomas wasn't able to join us, but she has given an update. I'm just going to read it. In the last quarter, the CMC cataloged 1,357 items, including 700 originally cataloged and 657 enhanced, and created 48 authority records. The Prairie Cat database cleanup continues. I'm sorry, I'm having sinus issues today. The Prairie Cat database cleanup project continues, where 442 bibliographic records were created, enhanced, or merged. The ALMA cleanup project for the Consortia of Academic and Research Libraries in Illinois, or CARLI, continues, where 1,749 bibliographic records are merged, deleted, or edited. The RSA backlog cleanup project was completed, yay, on April 25th, where 4,680 encoding level 8 and M records and some Braille records were enhanced, merged, originally cataloged, transferred, or identified as already updated or no longer existed in workflows. This month, the CMC staff began enhancing brief records, 9,875, and merging duplicate records. I thought this was a high number, 15,281 for the Indian Prairie Community Unit School District 204. During the quarter, bibliographic records were cataloged or enhanced in Arabic, Chinese, French, German, Greek, Hebrew, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Latin, Polish, Russian, Scottish, Gaelic, Spanish, and Swedish. 319 records were merged in OCLC Connection. 11 name authority records were reviewed. For digital collections, 27 simple and 36 compound objects were uploaded to Content DM, and 12 documents were transcribed. Digitization days were held at, I think it's Dupo School, the Williamsville Public Library Museum, Galesburg Public Library, and New Lenox Public Library District. And the last thing is the FY 2026 cataloging courses and online with the CMC webinars have been added to L2 and are open for registration. As usual, the CMC's been very busy.
Like that. Okay, there you go, Erin.
Hello. The RSA progress, upgrading brief records to OCLC records. We've done 851 brief records upgraded since January 29th, 2025 cataloging chat. RSA continues to work through a system-wide report of brief records with email addresses in their 592 fields, upgrading them to OCLC records. We also are working through the report from the oldest to the newest based on the brief record creation date. And we're currently upgrading brief records entered in July of 2023. If you are creating a brief record and do not want it to be upgraded to an OCLC record, remember you can type leave as brief without the quotes into the 592 field on the brief record. And there's the example. If RSA places a copy level hold on a brief item that you do not want upgraded, please let us know. Reply to the email that you do not want it upgraded. We will cancel the hold and delete the 592 field so that we do not contact you again about the item. Don't just cancel the hold, just let us know so we're not wasting your time again. The Cataloging Maintenance Center, progress on their backlog. In late April, the CMC finished working on the backlog of the RSA cataloging requests submitted as far back as 2017 and as recently as 2020. The backlog project began in October of 2023 and consisted of 4 Braille books in need of upgrade or original OCLC records, 3,318 pre-publication encoding level 8 records in need of upgrade to full bibliographic description in OCLC, and 1,358 minimal encoding level M records in need of upgrade to full bibliographic description in OCLC. The records that the CMC upgraded to full bibliographic description helped improve user experience. The full records makes them easier for staff and patrons to find whether they are searching workflows or the RSA CAT. The full bibliographic description will also help users understand what the item is about, helping them decide if they want to check it out or place it on hold. A big thank you to the CMC staff for their excellent work over the past year and a half. Yay! Woo. And our RSA cataloging team has been doing cataloging site visits, and since January 29th cataloging chat, we have visited Clayton Public Library District, Filger Public Library, Jacksonville Public Library, Knoxville Public Library, La Harpe Carnegie Public Library District, Martin Township Public Library, Morrison and Mary Wiley Library, and North Pike District Library. We enjoyed visiting all of you. Thank you for hosting us. And it's starting this July. RSA operations and cataloging staff will be visiting every library in person every 18 months. These in-person visits are an RSA membership requirement. RSA will reach out this summer to begin scheduling the first round of visits. And remember, you can always request a site visit at any time by submitting this form and choosing the cataloging option, which is below. It is on the RSA support site for the form.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. So I'm here to tell you about our new document called the Cataloging Kit document. KIT stands for Keep in Touch, but it's kind of fun that it also works out to KIT, since we're catalogers. But this new document was shared and first unveiled during the Colorful Cataloging Network session that happened at RSA Day this past April. So this document's, I'll show it to you in a second, but this document's kind of fun because it's like a little infographic flyer thing that has like little links to it to tell you more about cataloging chats, the RSA email forums, workshops, site visits, and iCamp, which I had Erica put in a more about iCamp later, so I don't steal. I think it's Erin's thunder later on, but she'll tell you more what iCamp is if that's something new to you. But yeah, it's basically just a short little flyer to give you ways to kind of like stay in touch with your fellow catalogers that are across the RSA membership, so you're not alone. You have resources and people there that you can talk to learn more about cataloging and see like what other people do, and see like, what can I do at my library? So there's a nifty link here to open up and, show you what this document looks like, but I'll also take you to the website and give you a preview of it there. Make that a little smaller. So like I created this, and I went with a like a yearbook theme here, but yeah, as you can see, we have like a little section for like cataloging chats, the RSA email forum, site visits, workshops, our at a glance document that kind of summarizes all the cataloging essentials for each calendar year, and then iCamp. And then if you find this on the website. So if you're on the home screen on the RSA website, the easiest way to get to here is to go to events. You're going to go to RSA Day. And then it's actually linked to with all like the other documents for RSA Day. So you can find it here under the colorful cataloging presentation section. And you can download the PDF directly from here. Are there any questions? No? Okay. I relinquish the computer.
Okay. Yeah, stuff's kind of. No, where are? Probably, yeah, all right, we'll be here a little while if we're waiting.
Sure, that's okay. Okay, so we'll shut that. Let's just close all the tabs. There you go. And then we'll just kind of move that up.
Okay, I'll read it from right here. Okay. Creating brief records for library bound items. To let you know, the Creating a Brief Record Guide includes updated instructions for creating brief records for library bound items. I'll show the guide here in just a second. Basically for creating brief records for library bound items, enter the ISBN for the paperback version of the book into the 020 fields and title control number fields on the brief record. The paperback ISBN is found on the book's title page verso. If there is no paperback ISBN, use the hardcover ISBN in the 020 field and title control number fields. Enter the library binding ISBN in the 500 field. The library binding ISBN is also found on the book's back cover. Library bindings, paw prints, I mean, there are a few.
Yeah.
What was that?
Penworthy.
Penworthy, thank you. Yeah, so that's what we mean by the library binding. I think I can just click on here. Library binding. In here, where is the little?
I think it's page 14.
Well, here, I'm just going to scroll down rather than it's making people sick here. Anyway. here is where the guide has been updated, the book with the library binding ISBN. If you have any questions about this, just be sure to contact the help desk. I think eventually down the road, there may be a form. Yeah, fingers crossed. I keep looking back at the team. But yeah, for now, just follow this procedure. I think that's it for me or my.
The ISBN and
Oh.
one.
Sorry, everyone, I'm kind of off with, okay, let's move this. And what else am I
Let's
minimizing?
minimize that, and then we'll just go to the next slide. So just scroll down. Yeah, there you go. We can kind of move. There we go.
Well, and actually, this is what I was talking about with the form. This is where the
Yeah.
form would be helpful. Okay. Submitting ISBN edition request. This is where hopefully a form will be available in the future. Right now, we just ask that you email the information. The reporting cataloging issues to RSA procedure includes an additional option for submitting ISBN edition requests. If you only have a couple books in need of ISBN editions, attach these images of the book to your email to help RSA verify that the ISBN should be added to the existing record. The front cover, spine, back cover, title page verso, and last numbered page. This it for this. Okay, here we go. If you have more than a couple books in need of ISBN editions, follow these steps to avoid the need to take photos or scans of the items. We've actually had this come up recently a few different times where it just seems easier if we're able to place holds instead of expecting, everyone to take images of maybe like 10 books. So if you have more than a couple, ask RSA to place copy level holds on the books in need of ISBN editions. RSA will confirm once the holds have been placed. Then you can trap the holds and drop the books into Rails delivery directed to 200-EP, that's our code, on the delivery label. Once the books arrive at the Rails East Peoria office, RSA will use them to verify the ISBNs, use them to verify if the ISBN should be added to the existing records. Then RSA will return the books in delivery. So hopefully that will be a little bit more helpful. Let's see, okay. Real quick, just to go to the procedure. The update date, and yeah, just on page 2 here. Right here, the ISBN addition to an existing record. And as always, just reach out to the help desk if you have any questions. I think that's it for me. I was going to try to get some of this. This current tab. Minimize.
Yeah, perfect.
At least got back to the slide. Sorry, everyone.
And like I said, this is.
Yeah, this is like a new thing.
Okay, RSA is, it has added some home locations since our last cataloging chat. And on the display is all the ones on there. There's an on display large print, 2 new easy readers, a juvenile literacy kit, science fair collection, and story collection. So if you want to use any of these codes for your collection or add them to your dropdown, please email the help desk. The complete list of home location codes is available. You can either click on here.
Open for you.
Just trying to grab this mouse here. It's like, ooh, which is right here. Which shows all your different home locations. Get up there to X out of that. Or on the support site,
That's the one all the way to the left.
oh,
Yeah, try this.
where?
The first tab.
Yeah, the first tab, it's a little
So
hard.
the first tab,
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry, I have a wallpaper on my.
There we go. No, it's just a matter of trying to get the mouse up there. Okay. I'm having a lot of fun with this mouse. Get it back to the regular one. In the handbooks. I'm gonna give up on this mouse. This cataloging handbook. And then over on the side, you can go down to the cataloging parameters. And then on the cataloging parameters page, you can find all your cataloging parameters that you can use on here. And see what they are. You can just open them all up.
I don't know what the mouse is doing.
I have no idea.
idea.
It does not like me, sorry. And none of these codes have been changed since our last cataloging count or chat. In item category 4s, there's been quite a few added since the last cataloging chat. A lot of different award winners. And if you want to use any of these codes for your collection, contact the help desk and ask for them to be added or added to your dropdown. And that's where you can find the cat 4s I just showed you on the last one. Here's some more item cat 4s. Like I said, a lot more of the award winners are on here, plus others. And there's even some more and some story time series. And item cat 5 categories that have been added since our last cataloging chat that you can add at any time. Just by asking for it. There's just a few and a couple of the award winners. And a few more here, some more in science, and award winners and supervillains have been added to our superheroes. So that's a good one to have. Our item category 6 is only has OCLC exclude. The OCLC holding will not be updated. That's what it's for. It is configured in each library's item cat 6 drop-down menu. Item category 6 is only used for special projects that do not involve visibility to patrons in the RSA CAT, and reports using item cat 6 cannot be run in Blue Cloud Analytics. Assigning the OCLC exclude item category 6 is optional. If you don't want to use it, use undefined if it's not applicable to the item you're cataloging. I'll hand this over to Lisa.
Right. So addition dates. This actually came to us from a question somebody submitted to the help desk, and we thought it was an interesting question. And we just wanted to pass this information along to everybody. So sometimes if you're cataloging particularly older items that have been like republished, you might be like trying to figure out like what is the publication date that you're going to put compare to in the 245 field. So you might like see an older copyright date and an edition statement with a more recent date. And normally like we tell people like, yeah, you want to use the copyright date as the implied publication date. but because there's exceptions to everything, if you happen to see an addition statement on that title page verso that has like in this case, First Random House Children's Books Edition 2023, and then it has like a copyright date of a renewed copyright date of 1969. In this case, you're going to want to look for that 2023 as the publication date on the record, you know, as you're going through your match points. Yeah, so if you're like set in this if you're in this situation, you're going to want to use that newer edition statement date as you compare the items. Basically, I kind of just like think of this as like you want to use like the date that's kind of closest to you in time for your publication date. And again, exception, because there's always exceptions to things. The only exception would be like if you have a book that has an edition statement date, and there's like an explicit like published in statement also on the verso page. So like if your title page verso, like in this case says like, you know, 2023 edition, but it's also saying like published in 2025, you're going to look for that 2025 in the 245, you know, subfield C for the publication date. And there should be like a 250 edition statement of like 2023 edition as well. So that would be like the one exception there. Again, you want to use the date that is closest to you in time as the publication date. And of course, like you always want to avoid reprint dates. Reprint dates are evil and they're not really publication dates. So yeah, so that was an interesting situation that came up. Right.
Okay, another thing that has been popping up that we have noticed during our site visits especially is that if your library uses a new home location code such as new FIC or new DVD, remember to edit the home location to the regular location when the item is no longer considered new in your collection. There are many items and workflows that are at least a couple years old and are still assigned a new home location. Basically, if a lot of people will put in a new item type for an item type, and they also use new FIC because they have it in a new section in their library to show where they are, but they're not being changed with the new item type at the same time when the item type is no longer new. The home location is not being changed at the same time. So use the global item modification or item group editor if you have access to the ladder wizard to batch edit the home location for no longer new items to the regular home location, such as fiction, nonfiction, etc. If you're interested in reviewing a report of items assigned new home locations in your collection to see if any should be added to a regular home location, please reach out to the help desk. If you have more than a few no longer new items in need of edit, RSA can batch edit them if you tell us the regular home location to assign them to. RSA does not have an automatic process to batch edit no longer new items in new home locations. There's too wide a variety of home locations used by RSA membership that an automatic process is unfortunately not possible. So to help you monitor items when they are no longer new, RSA can subscribe your email to a report of items in new home locations with the item create date in the output. To subscribe to this report, submit a report request either at the bottom here or just go to the RSA support desk and go on the reports tab to find that. And I guess it is break time. So we'll see you in 5 minutes.
We actually are just at
Okay.
half an hour.
Okay.
So if this is going faster than I thought, which is good. So if anybody would like a break, please go ahead and type in the chat, if you could use a break, but otherwise we will go ahead and push forward. So we'll give you a couple minutes to respond. You want a break? Okay, I see break. let's keep going. Or not. Okay, okay, let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break since one person could use it. So let me set a timer, but we'll see you back in 5 minutes. And let me pause the recording. Okay, and I'll get the slides back. Let's see, where were we? Seed library. Okay, I will let you, Lisa, take over
Yes.
when you are ready.
All right, so seed library. Okay. So back in April, after feedback from our membership, RSA created 7 broad category enhanced brief records and workflows for all libraries to use to catalog seeds from their seed libraries if they want to. It's not required. But here's a screenshot of the different categories that are currently in workflows. So we have like a bit of a variety going on here. So the idea is that, like, since these are broad category, a library would catalog a specific seed type that they have in their seed library under a category that best describes what they have. So like if you have cherry tomato seeds, you would use the seed library garden vegetables and fruits enhanced brief record. And then if you wanted to be specific about the type of seed, that item that is using that record, your call number is where you would put in that specificity, and you would use like cherry tomato as the call number. That way you could be specific to both your patrons and like for your tracking. There you would use your call number for that. Using the enhanced brief records that are in workflows, it's 100% optional, but why might you consider using these? So there's 2 big reasons for it. One is that having something in the catalog and visible to patrons in the RSA CAT does help increase visibility of your seed library to patrons as they're searching the RSA CAT. Even if they know you have a seed library, if they want to like get an idea of like what type of seeds you have, they could always like go onto the RSA CAT and kind of like see everything there. The other reason why you might consider using this is that it helps to make tracking of your seed library usage easier. And you also have the ability then to compile more detailed statistics. Libraries love statistics, so this would be a good way to go about doing that if you were interested and inclined. So this information could be used to justify a seed library to your board. It could be used to also like determine like which seed varieties are most popular and which aren't, for your restocking purposes, and etc. So we do have, I'm going to go into workflows and I'm going to show you how to search for these and like determine if, which ones are RSA created and which ones are just like for other, libraries that they've done, and show you like what these seed libraries look like kind of in person. So let me just. So if I'm in workflows, I'm going to go into the cataloging module. I'm just going to open up a call number and item maintenance wizard. There we go. And the easiest way to find these is just to type in seed library. So there are a couple different ones that are here. So the way you can tell RSA's ones, if you didn't know like what they were, is if you look. The ones we created are enhanced brief records. So you're going to see a bunch of different fields that are here. We also have a local note that only, is only just for us, but like it'll say this seed library broad category enhanced brief record was created by RSA for member library use. So this is the line you're going to want to look for to make sure that it was one of these broad category enhanced brief records that RSA created. So let me just open this up to get a better view of it. You can see a little bit more here. So with the enhanced brief records that we made, we have our title, we have a slight physical description. Again, it's kind of generic just because it's, broad category. We have our 3XX fields. And then we have seeds like everywhere on here to kind of help with searching. There is like a summary statement, you know, for if you have patrons that are looking at this in the RSA CAT, just to kind of tell them that, like, you know, in this case, it's a, you know, herbs in your seed library. So it's a collection of herb plants that patrons can freely take from their local library seed library. And there's that note again, that local note saying it was created by RSA. And then we've also added subject headings and a local subject term just for seed library. So, you know, you could search for seed library and see all your stuff together. But yeah, so like with the subject headings and everything, that'll also help with patron searching, you know, in the RSA CAT. Where, not from beginning, from current slide. Okay. So we do have a document that was created to kind of help y'all, you know, navigate how to use these since these are brand new. If you choose to utilize them, I will pull this up, but basically like this guide. Okay, I know I just clicked the link here, but to show you how to get to it from the actual RSA website, you could go to the handbook section and then go to cataloging handbook. It's also here under brief records, like way down here at the bottom. So utilizing RSA's seed library, broad category, enhanced brief records. But to show you what it looks like. No, I don't want to find. There's my button. Okay, so it's a 6-page document. We have contents notes here, and I'll scroll down so you could kind of get an idea of like what sort of things are discussed inside this document. But essentially, this guide offers suggestions and steps for how to utilize these enhanced brief records. It provides details on how to track usage through use of the ephemeral wizard, so you can get those statistics we were talking about. It has ideas for tracking seed library use because there's a wide variety of ways you can do that. And like we, you know, fully acknowledge like tracking these isn't going to be perfect, but this is just to kind of give you like a ballpark estimate of usage. And it also supplies information for how to suggest new broad category enhanced brief records, because always like if you have ideas for a new enhanced brief record you'd like to see in workflows for seeds that you want to add to your seed library, do reach out. And we'll be more than happy to create a new record and workflows for you as soon as possible. Yeah. So again, like finally, like the use of these broad category enhanced brief records is absolutely optional. There's absolutely no pressure to use them. But again, we wanted to try them out, you know, for those of you that were interested and if they made sense for your library. So for those of you that are currently using standard, quote unquote, standard brief record in workflows for your seed libraries, you're not required to stop using those. You know, you don't have to stop using those and use these broad category enhanced brief records instead. It's totally up to you if you want to make the switch. If your library is currently using standard brief records, you know, like when we are in workflows, I'm sure you saw a couple that were already in there. But if you do want to switch to the broad category ones, just reach out, let us know. We will be happy to transfer your seed library items to the enhanced brief records. That way you'll retain all your checkout statistics and item information. There's no need to delete your current seed library items and recatalog them on the enhanced brief records as well. If you have any questions or suggestions for the seed library enhanced brief records, just reach out, let us know. You can contact us either via the email for the help desk or give us a phone call. Any questions? Take that as a no. There you go.
Okay. I know this has been mentioned a couple times recently, but we thought we'd mention it again. We've noticed an uptick in pirated DVDs and Blu-rays and workflows. RSA has recently encountered several pirated discs and workflows. Remember that pirated items of any format cannot be cataloged or circulated in workflows based on this policy. I'm pretty sure everyone here is already aware of this, but like I said, we're just doing a reminder. Good to know, shows and movies on streaming services such as, but not limited to, Netflix, Disney Plus, and Apple TV are not always released on physical disc. Check the DVD release dates website, and there's a Blu-ray.com website to see if the movie or show has been released on disc, ideally before you buy it, to make sure you're not buying a pirated item. Amazon, Walmart, Target, and other large retailers may sell pirated DVDs and Blu-rays on their websites from third-party vendors. I would say most recently, that's what we've noticed has happened. A couple different libraries have purchased something from, I think it was Amazon or Walmart, and it was from a third-party vendor. And it was pirated, so they sent it back, and I believe they're able to get a refund. If you buy a pirated item, ask the seller for a refund and let them know that the item was pirated so they can remove it from their website. If you buy a DVD or Blu-ray and suspect it may be pirated, oops, that's not what I meant to do, RSA would be happy to look at it for you. Just please reach out to the help desk. And we do appreciate those that do report these to us, unless we actually see them. We just don't know. There's really no way to tell. So we do appreciate when you report it to the help desk. And I don't know, you think I should show the sites, Erica, or? I mean, I'll go in. We've shared this before. I mean, basically you can go to this or Blu-ray.com. You would just search a title here. Mandalorian. Because I know this is one that's come up from the Mandalorian. I don't know if it actually says. Yeah, for the Blu-ray, I mean, the DVD for the Mandalorian just was never released. Like if there was a release date, it would actually say here somewhere that there was a release date. So just a good website, that and the Blu-ray.com one to check, if you are able to do so. I'm trying to shut these down, but I'm worried about closing everything out. So maybe someone else needs to. Are you up next? So I'm gonna leave it to you. But yes, reach out as always to the help desk with any questions.
We were excited to find out about the Blu-ray.com. We actually learned of that from the Illinois Heartland, the Share newsletter for the Share catalog in the southern part of the state. So they had found Blu-ray.com. So we wanted to be sure to share that with you. Okay, let's go ahead and minimize this. Okay, at the January cataloging chat, I had talked about an item cat 3 script that we had that had been running for several years. And we have noticed with that script, and several of you had noticed as well, there were issues with, in particular, large print items being incorrectly assigned the book item category 3. And there was also an indexing lag. And sometimes, for example, you would run item cat 3 counts in Blue Cloud Analytics, and it would just show that you had maybe 50 large print when you have hundreds or thousands of large print. So the good news is this script has been disabled and it no longer runs. And then earlier this year, Cersei Dynex reworked that script, and it's now a custom workflows report that runs early each morning. So this report, like the script, it ensures items that have been cataloged are assigned the correct item cat 3, which is especially important for format searching in the RSA cat. So the report, the first part of it, it's set up a little bit differently than the script. And we did that intentionally because of how the large print portion appeared in the script, it was causing the indexing trouble. So we reordered, or I should say Cersei Dynex reordered the new item cat 3 report. So it first looks for Braille government document and large print items. based on some coding in the bibliographic description. And it makes sure that the Braille government document and large print items are assigned the correct category 3. So it does that first. And then the report looks at any items that haven't already been edited by the report. And it makes sure that the item is assigned the correct Cat 3 based on its item type. And we have a mappings table. You might have looked at this before. I'll go ahead and open it so you can see what it looks like. But basically it's an if-then chart. So if you use this item type, such as 1 day, then it will use the book item Cat 3. So this is what feeds the new report. So it knows which Cat 3s go with which item types. Let's see, go back here. And I put an example here. Another more relevant example is Blu-ray. So if a Blu-ray was accidentally assigned the book category 3 when it was cataloged, the next run of the script that next morning, I should say the report, you can tell I still think of this as a script, but it's technically a report. The report will edit it to the movie Cat 3 the next time it runs. So think of it as like a quality control step. If you put in your item correctly and use the correct category 3, the script won't touch it. It's just looking for things where the Braille government document large print, where that might be goofed up, and it's also looking at those mappings to make sure everything is lining up. Like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, there haven't been any issues that we've noticed with large print being assigned the book Cat 3, and we haven't seen any indexing trouble. But if you notice issues with incorrectly assigned category 3s, please let us know so we can look into it. Fingers crossed, we haven't had anything, and this started back in February. So we'll continue to hope that it runs smoothly. But we were really pleased with the output of this report because, again, it's been reordered, so it's not causing those large print issues like we saw with the script. Any questions about that? Okay, this next agenda item, Kendall asked me to share with you. You might have seen he had posted, I think, to the reports email forum not too long ago about the interactive collection dashboard report. I think we talked about this a little bit at the January cataloging chat, but he's made an enhancement to it that it includes a new interactive matrix, which involves a shelf list, and then you can select attributes in rows and columns. So I'll show you this here in a minute. But basically the matrix helps you take a deep dive into your collection. It's really helpful for identifying cataloging mistakes, and you'll see that here in a minute. You do need a Blue Cloud Analytics BCA account to access the dashboard. But Kendall wanted me to be sure to mention that you don't need BCA training in order to use these dashboards. He does have a recorded BCA training session from earlier this year. I put the link there in the slides. So if you want to get started using these dashboards, I would first check with your director or supervisor just to make sure it's okay for you to have an account. And then we have a form on our website where you can ask for an account to be set up. And let me show you that on the support site. This is relatively new. Let's see. So we have a get in touch, and then there's other requests, and then there's add or remove a staff account. So you can request the BCA account from there. Okay, and I have lost our place, so let me go back. Okay, so if you find any issues or have questions with the collection browser matrix, I am definitely not the expert, so you can reach out to the help desk and put Kendall's name in the subject line. But let's go ahead and take a tour of the matrix so you can see it in action if you haven't played around with it already. So I'm gonna escape out of there. Okay, so when we're on the support site homepage, there's topics and reports, Blue Cloud Analytics. And then on the left side in the contents, there's the interactive standalone dashboard links. And notice the first one is the interactive collection browser. So I'll click that. Okay, so the interactive collection browser here is how we open it. Okay, so it's logging in. Sometimes it takes a minute. I was playing with this yesterday and it was a little bit slow, so we'll let it continue thinking. Has anyone used the interactive matrix so far in the browser? It looks like Kendall created this back in April, so not too long ago. I did not make screenshots of everything in here, so if this won't, if this won't start up, we won't wait too long. It did this yesterday, yeah, and it eventually came up. I'll give it another minute or so. I think because there's so much data it needs to pull up. That would be my guess. I can't say for sure. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, rather than sitting here and watching it spin, Erin, let's have you go over the upcoming training and events. Just leave this spinning, and then maybe by the time that you've presented that agenda item, it will be, yeah, hopefully it'll be up. Here I am trying to sell it, and I'm like, oh, it's not coming up. Okay, there you go. So we'll just see if it comes up.
Okay. I'm sure we'll eventually will. Here's some of our upcoming training. The basic workflows cataloging workshops. In June, we have an in-person, which is going to go because I have somebody signed up for it. It's at Edwards River in Aledo, which is northwest of Galesburg or Monmouth, if you know where those are. July and August are on Zoom, and then in September, there will be an in-person at Clover Public Library in Woodhull. So if you need basic workflows, any basic workflows for any of your people, this is where to get it. You can, they're also on the cataloging at a glance cheat sheet, or they're on the L2 calendar, so you can sign up anytime for those. The upcoming BibLoad workshops, there will be one in June on the 26th on Zoom in the morning, and Friday, August 22nd in the afternoon on Zoom. And they are on the L2 calendar and on the cataloging at a glance sheet or cheat sheet. The item group editor training. The item is the wizard in workflows allows you to search for a group of items in your collection and then make changes to all those items in a single batch. Examples of values that can be changed using item group editor include home location, price, item type, and item categories 4 and 5. Please note the item group editor does not batch edit call numbers. So if you're interested in this, it is posted in person at your library. It does take up to 2.5 hours to complete. And if you would like it, reach out to the help desk if you wanted to schedule this training for your library. And then the application period for the 2025-2026 iCamp which is the Illinois Cataloging Mentorship Program, opens this summer with a new cohort of mentors and mentees beginning the fall. Please keep an eye on the Rails Technical Services and the RSA cataloging email forums for an announcement once the application period is officially open. From the iCamp website, it says it operates on a comprehensive year-long framework designed to facilitate professional and personal development among its participants. Through monthly meetings orchestrated by the iCamp Mentorship Committee, mentees take actionable steps towards their goals and mentors gain insights through teaching. Participants foster connections, discuss goals, and attend professional development or recreational events together. The program is committed to promoting professional advancement, refining cataloging skills, and fostering networking opportunities through structured, respectful, and collaborative relationships. iCamp's objective is to forge lasting relationships among participants and within the mentorship cohort. If any of you are participating in iCamp, would you like to share your experience? Because Jen and I are mentors this year. We have found it sometimes frustrating since we are the first ones, so we're kind of feeling our way a little bit more in it. But once we have settled into it, we have made some friends now at different libraries. And we have gone through things like, I know one of our big ones where we were going through our resumes just to upgrade them and look at each other's and discuss, what we've heard as good things for resumes, what not to put in resumes anymore. We have helped one of my mentees is an actual student right now in an LTA program, and she changed jobs, and we helped her with her resume to get her. So when she was applying for a new job, she fixed her. We helped her fix her and upgrade her resume a little bit to help her out. Things like that. You just kind of become more friends. They were up in the Chicago area, so we're hoping to get more people to be mentees and mentors down here so that maybe we can get more people in the central area that we can help more with problems with workflows at OCLC if they have it. And just more general about smaller libraries, because they're all in very large libraries and neither one has workflows. So we weren't able to even make a connection there, but we're doing it on a different level for us. The one thing I would suggest for iCamp is if you're signing up to be a mentee, is to make sure you get the director okay before signing up, because we do monthly meetups. They're able to do more, but we found one with everybody at one time works the best. But they're normally during daytime hours when we're here. So, we're here, basically 8 to 4, 9 to 5. So, we have the meetings then. And sometimes the one that was in the LTA, she would do it from home. But we found that we heard that people actually, have dropped out because their director won't let them be in a meeting for an hour once a month. So, make sure if you're, encouraging anybody in your library to be a mentee or you want to be a mentee, make sure you can get the time to at least be free for at least an hour a month for these meetings. That'll be the end. I'm going to send it back to Erica so she can see it.
See if that came up. Yeah, we'll take a look. Okay. escape out of there. Oh, good. Okay, here we go. All right, so it does take a little bit to come up as you saw. You may not have, when you log in, you may not see this table of contents on the left. So if you don't see it, click the little table of contents icon. It looks like a piece of paper with bulleted lines in the upper left corner. And then you click on matrix. You would select your library from the list. You can select more than one library at the same time, but the thing is, it shows the combined collection. It doesn't have a breakout per library. So if you have branches, for example, if you're okay with seeing everything lumped together, you can go ahead and pick multiple branches, but if you'd rather see just one branch's data at a time, I would recommend just picking that one particular library. So for the example I'll show you, I'm going to uncheck the RSA code. And it thinks. And I'm going to see if it will let me pick the Atlanta code once it's done thinking. Okay, there we go. So I'll check mark Atlanta. And then notice there's row selection and column selection with different values. You can select any combination of these values in the rows and the columns. I think it's helpful in the rows to start with the item type. So let's do that. And then the item cat 2 is actually what I was going to show you, and that's already selected in the column. But notice there's even values like shadowed values. If something's hidden in the RSA cat, it'll show you if it's been shadowed in workflows. It looks like there's inventory information, transit status. So there's a lot of different values in here. But the example we'll look at is item type based on item cat 2. I'm not trying to pick on Atlanta at all, but they have they're a good example to use of a couple things that make showing this to you easy. So notice they have in the book J item type, they have 9 items assigned the adult item category to. So those probably should be assigned the juvenile item cat to. So if you click on the 9, and it looks like I need to resize my screen or scroll down. So once you click on that 9, it shows in the bottom portion of the screen in the shelf list, it shows you those specific items. So this is pretty slick to help you easily see what those items are without having to run a separate report. Okay, let's see what else. You can click the column or the row header to see all of the items that have that value. So if I wanted to see, for example, all of the items that are undefined, this collection actually looks pretty good. There's only 132. That's pretty good. Not too bad. But when I select that column header and I look down here in the bottom shelf list, it does output all of those items. So another trick in here, you can click more than one count at a time. So if I wanted in the equipment item cat 2 column, if I wanted to see what the book, DVD, and new book items are that are assigned equipment, again, probably mistakes that should be adult, juvenile, or young adult, but you can hold your control key down and select multiple values in the matrix, and then it populates those in the shelf list at the bottom. Let's see. Notice it does give me a count up here that tells me how many items were selected and up here in the shelf list. So up here it tells me how many records, 10, and how many items, 10. Those numbers may not always match if you have multiple copies attached to a record. So that's something to keep in mind if you notice those two numbers aren't the same. Let's see, what else? Okay, so if you wanted to, let's say you wanted to output these items in the shelf list, make a little report of them so you can find them and fix their category too. Notice when you hover over the upper right corner of the shelf list, there's a little 3-dot button and you can export it to Excel or PDF. So that's handy. So you can work on it later. You can also right click on any cell and do a copy. I don't think you can do this just from a regular, excuse me, Blue Cloud Analytics report. You might be able to, but in here it works really well with copy cell. And then you could take that barcode number and use that to search for the item in workflows. I'm starting to get a frog. Okay, so the last thing you can do in here is make a bookmark. So if you click this little ribbon icon in the upper left corner, I don't have any bookmarks, but if I do add new, I could name it something like item type by item cat 2. That way I can remember what data this matrix was outputting. So if I just hit the save, it confirms. So if I wanted to come back to this, the next time I log in, it would be saved there. So that's a handy feature. A lot of the things I've just shown you are in the About This Dashboard category on the table of contents. Kendall's put some notes about the matrix, but like I said, it's mostly what I've showed you. But if you need a review at any point, the information here is pretty helpful. Does anyone have any questions about the matrix? Okay. We did want to allow time, just if there's any cataloging questions we can answer for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be about anything we talked about today. But I know we don't do the cataloging office hours anymore where we used to have set times where you could drop in and really ask anything cataloging related. So I thought we'd give you an opportunity now if there's anything we can answer for you. If not, you know where to find us. Hit the help desk. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our meeting. Thank you for joining us. Like I said, if you think about what we talked about and have questions, please reach out to the help desk. If you'd like a copy of these slides or want to listen to anything again, we will announce on the cataloging email forum once the slides and the recording are ready. And then our next cataloging chat will be Friday, September 26th in the morning, and the Zoom link is there. It's also posted on the L2 calendar if you go to September. So feel free to save the date if you know you want to join us. I think that's all that we had for you. So thanks again for joining us and have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in September. Bye-bye. Yes, you will receive.